couple of words are repeating all the time. Discussions are also quite, you know, sometimes converging, overlapping. Things are also overlapping. Certain perspectives are overlapping. But then there's no end to discussions. And it's good that since yesterday, focusing on issues around community network through various sessions, various perspectives. And I'm sure at the end of today, when the report or the document will come up, this will also give a wonderful landscape of the kind of topics or questions or perspective that has come out around this. The subject, I would rather say, is a subject called community network, which is internationally recognized, discussed, deliberated upon. And that is how we are towards the end of today's Community Network Exchange Asia Pacific discussions. And in this session today, I welcome all of you. Neelam from Video Volunteers. Neela, I'm sorry. Hina from Video Volunteers. And Video Volunteers, we know it's a very old, quite an old organization, and they have been one of the pioneer in terms of how using audio visuals, the community transformations or changes can be brought about, and they have been pioneering in this country and beyond this country also, that I think you have worked. So we have Shalini A. Still I haven't asked her what is the A, but Shalini. And I have come to know her for the last few months now. And she is amazing. And recently we were together in a village in Manipur, in Churachandpur district, to a village which is of a Chiru Naga tribe, which is a 3,000 population village. And we went there to explore and set up a community network, MASH network. And some work has been done, something again will, subsequently will be done. But I think she has been with Dinesh Janastu organization, and I think they are doing a lot of work. And so we have Amir, what's the full name? He's Amir Rahman, and he is from Digital Empowerment Foundation. I invited him impromptu because whenever I meet him and talk to him, I also learn from him a lot, because the kind of knowledge and experiences he brings from the ground while implementing, because he is in the implementation team at DEF. And that is why I also wanted him to be part of the discussion, because we are all discussing here. So anybody who can contribute is well and good. And George is joining. 3:30. So we have another resource person, young student leader, who is from Manipur itself. And there was some work we tried to do in Manipur, again in another district. So he will join online, and he will share perspective. At 3:30, we have been told that he will join us at 3:30 for a certain specific period of time, because his mother is in the hospital or something. So certainly he will join us and share what is the work he has done. And in that particular village called Bongwal village, which is in Churachandpur in Manipur. So that gentleman, young leader, will join us in some time. But moving now to the topic that we are supposed to discuss in this brief time is all about community network as a lifeline in terms of crisis. So that is a topic of this session discussion. So when we say community network as a lifeline in terms of crisis, so the crisis could be that when there's no internet in this area. That's also a crisis, because all are connected. Outside this area, people are connected, we are not connected. Something electricity isme hai, usme, sare usme, hamare यहाँ गाँव में electricity नहीं है. So that is a crisis, which is kind of an extreme level. The another crisis is in terms of when there is a conflict, when there is a digital conflict, ethnic conflict, when long hours, long days, long weeks, months of internet shutdowns. The example Manipur is a global case study by now. So that is also a crisis. Third crisis is the climate change, natural disasters. That is quite happening a lot now, where even the digital infrastructure is becoming very vulnerable now. So that's increasing vulnerability, especially in the hilly regions, remote regions, Himalayan regions, and so on and so forth. That is also a kind of a crisis. So one is the darkness, one is the conflictual situations, one is the kind of natural climate change disaster situations, especially Amir, recently you have been to Uttarakhand, you have been implementing some program, and you are going to implement some program in Himachal now in a village which is very affected by every year that floods and flash floods and all. And then, so these are the 3-4 situations of a crisis, when there's a crisis. So how do you see that based on your experience? So Neha, uh, Hina, so Hina, from your perspective, video volunteers perspective, if you have worked on this community network perspective or in that as a formula, as a solution, as an approach, so how do you see this, that when there's a crisis, whether this approach has worked or not, and what kind of solutions people are getting from this an approach that we are trying to support the local community, from your experience?
Yeah, thank you. So basically, for video volunteers, I would like to say we build our entire model is around communities. For us, community network is something that we deeply believe in, and for us, community network is not digital; it is people first. And that is the core premise of our work. When we say that, what I mean is that, for instance, during COVID-19, there were so many instances of misinformation, disinformation, and so many, the ration was not being reaching people, the roads were blocked, the health crisis was like looming, and there was no information which could be trusted. At that time, the community stood up, and that is where the power of community network lies. When we say that everything has to be digital, we forget that this connectivity is also something which can be hampered by anybody. So we need to build more human networks on the ground, which is based out of communities, which doesn't have to be all digital. Like that is what we have seen in our own work. And when we talk about the conflict or like how the crises are being handled, one of our CCs that work in Orissa in a mining area, her name is Bideshini, and she receives death threats every day about the issues that she's covering or the videos that she's making about the mafia and the corporates and how the mining is exploiting the natural vegetation. She receives those death threats every day. But the thing is, the information that she has on from the ground, the local information, nobody has that. And that is what is the power of community network. And that is why we need to invest more in the community network. Yeah.
Thank you, Hina. So what you are saying is that the perspective of community network should be seen in this way also, that it could be, it is a non-digital, digital mix of network. It's a network of people in terms of crisis. It's a network of people to share information, to connect with information, and towards resolutions of various critical challenges on the ground that you just mentioned. So taking the point that you said, community network is a network of people in a context towards resolving problems, and also where information is key to solving many of the fundamental problems that a community may be facing, right? That is what we have said. Thank you. We'll come back. So, Pranita, kindly let us know when George joins so that we can immediately connect him. So now, Shalini, um, I think the point that I'm going to ask you is that the real community network, that technology of community network, mesh network, So we know there are problems. There are needs of network, internet dark areas. We all know, and even government data is saying something. All so many villages are connected, but still we don't. Maybe not be. Hello, George. We'll join you in a while. So there is a need. So when we know there is a need in the community, there's a need to connect. We need to go and we see that community network is a solution to connect the community, the village, city, over there, over here. So what are the initial or fundamental problems that we face in terms of, first of all, making the community believe that this is a solution for you, this may work for you, because the adoption or the ownership or the acceptance of this idea is important, because this is something they have never heard or never been part of this exercise. That is one part. And then getting into that is in terms of the kind of equipment. The equipments are not readily available. When we say community, and then we say the equipment, they are not, I think, converging, because they are not easily available even to connect the community. The equipment part, the cost effectiveness of those equipment, and also the local capacities. So how they will run, maintain. I think these are all kind of challenges perhaps we see. So how do you, when you go to the field, you have been to recently to that village and you've implemented. So how do you see, we have a solution sitting over here, we know this is a solution for the community, but then taking it to the community. So what are those 3, 4 things that is very, very difficult also to go to the ground and make people accept and get solution to, based on that?
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm glad to be here. So we have implemented community networks in different parts of India, and each geographical area is very different. Like from each area differs, each community differs. So every time we go with an open mind that how we tell community networks to them, explain community networks. That's very important. Not many understand. Like once you say like we have come to for setting up network, they will ask like, is it are you come to set up an internet? That's the first question. Or you like they forget sometimes internet also. Are you giving us mobile networks? Are you doing that? Like, are you building towers? Are you putting up mobile signals? Is this what you do? Like, so explaining that the basic, like what is community networks itself is like a challenge in different parts, like so we say like for us when we try to explain, we say like community networks is for the community to own. It's for the community and by the community is what we say, like generally, like to the people, like it's how you all come together for to solve something or for to celebrate something, like how that's what happened in the Manipur that we recently did it. So for a week, like there were like a lot of things were happening in the community. That was our observation, like how community came together for many different occasions. Like there was no electricity for a week, but like how we understood like how they come together to like solve the electricity problem. There was a marriage in the community. So how the whole village left everything, like their professions, their thing. Every day they used to gather for to do something, because the marriage it belongs to the community. The community person is getting married. So I'm just taking that example because it's very recent, and like the area that we went is a crisis-prone area because Manipur was in a conflict, and the Chiru Naga tribe, like they are like are on the top of the mountain now, and they are the last. There are many villages, but like they are the last, and like nothing reaches them soon. Like so when we were talking about them, like what to explain what the need of the community networks, like why do you need a network? Most of the people said like, we want to know about the news. We don't know what happens in Manipur, what happens between the two communities, like the conflict that is happening between. We don't know like what is coming to us. We are not aware of it. And so, so some of the things, because newspaper has stopped coming. There's no public transport coming in to them, nothing. Everything is like stopped. It's like complete shutdown for them. Either only they have to go to the city to get something. Nothing comes to them directly. So there are many such things. Medical, there is different facilities, no, like nobody comes to repair things easily. Like whatever happens in the community, they themselves have to solve it. So that basis we have used it to explain like why do you need a community network? What will happen when you have this network during the crisis? How you can come together to like be connected together, like no, and that's how like slowly when we introduced the technical details of it, like we put forward what is router, what are cables, what are different equipments, why this is needed, how you can connect. So there are tech savvy people also because they need it. They understand like why this is so important for them. Like, and then like so in Manipur that had happened, but like when we did in Orissa also it's the same thing. Like because there are again one different kind of tribes and and there were not a lot of Naxal activities were happening in that area. Like, no? So for them also the same. Like how can we be safe? How can we be connected? Like when some crisis happens, like how in a community we can talk to each other, stay connected together. That was very important for them. I'm in different area, but like phones doesn't work, sending some people doesn't work. But if there is a network around, local network, intranet, that's what we are talking about here. It's not internet. If you just have an intranet, a local Wi-Fi connections, mesh connections, you are connected in any mode. You can use whatever device you have, like just connect to each other, talk to each other, know what is happening at other end of the village. That's how like mesh community networks was successful in many areas where we worked.
Thank you, Shalini. So, community network, crisis, feel safe, stay connected, keep talking to each other, keep confidence building in place in times of crisis and those vulnerabilities. I think that is what are the key words I'm taking from your views and your statements, observations that you had. So now we will go to George. George, can you hear us? George, can you hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can,
Am I audible?
we can hear you, but can you be a little louder, or I have to be louder?
Yeah. Okay. Am I audible?
I can hear, but can you hear?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
th-
yeah. Of course I can hear you.
can you just say one word, one, two words?
Hello. Am I audible?
George,
Hello. Am I audible?
yeah. I think something is better than nothing. So I think we can hear you now. So I think since you will be here for
Uh,
only 10 minutes or so, so what we want to know from you is George is sitting in Churachandpur in Manipur in India. So, and he is from the one of the ethnic community that was into conflict with the another ethnic community, and they are now a kind of a de facto division. They are not moving each other for the last 3 years from each place to one place to the another. So, George, I think we want to know from you is that your conflict experience that you had, the shutdowns that you had, and until recently, long days, weeks, months of shutdowns, and then the community network that you try to establish, and the kind of solutions or the kind of kind of support that you got through your network, or the solutions that you try to set up in that time of crisis. So, can you share your experience to us quickly
yeah,
on the,
yeah,
just
yeah,
take
yeah.
time, don't be in a hurry also, just take time.
Okay. Thank you for having me here today. It's quite uh, a long day for me. Uh, my name is George Thangwan Sang. Uh, I'm part of the core team at Amri Karbik Community Development Project and Social for Council for Social and Digital Development, which is implementing the Manipur Community Access Network. Uh, Basically, I would say my role involves coordinating for the project in setting up of community-centered connectivity in the region, which is located at Bungwal village in Lamka in Churchanpur district. And I am also supporting the community engagement, also overseeing the capacity building of the volunteers and ensuring that the local community has better access to the internet and opportunities. And I'm also working with the volunteers who have volunteered for the Manipur Community Access Network. It was in the year 2023 that the ethnic violence started in the 3rd of May 2023. And I think it's one of the longest shutdown in the history of India. It's been more than 1 year, approximately a year. We don't get any internet. Uh, we are being shut down, blackout of the internet. And the idea of this Manipur Access Community Access Network emerged when there is a total blackout of the internet. So we shared the idea. Uh, that's when we conceptualize that Manipur can that community access network can be created, which is to be owned and which is to be owned by the community itself, which will be a resilient internet access model, so that even if there is a shutdown of internet, uh, the internet lifeline and people trust through the internet can which we can build it again. So, and there are some challenges that we face during the setting up of the Manipur Kent network, which is basically from the chief, village chief, due to low awareness and some misinformation regarding the setting up of high-end tower. We are facing a bit of problem in that, but after two or three times giving the awareness and campaign, some village chief they allowed the setting up of the high-end towers, which helps in the building of the community access network. Uh, one of our um, uh, the blackout, the internet shutdown. When we say internet shutdown, it does it does not mean that there is no social media uh, and all, but we don't have any access to the information, uh, no access to information about education, even relief coordination. We cannot provide relief coordination through the internet, which is easily available when there is internet. And the most and foremost important thing, there can be no medicine, which is very one of the major problem that we face during the ethnic violence. And one of the problems that we face during the uh, internet blackout, internet shutdown is misinformation. Misinformation, uh, let me put it in this way. The ethnic violence, which started on the 3rd of May 2023, is also somewhat uh, because of this misinformation. Misinformation also became a rampant, leading to fear and mistrust among the communities. Uh, Communities, when I say communities, between the Meitei, the Kuki, the Zomi, the Mar, yeah, this internet, I mean the digital divide, that due to the blackout of the internet, the digital divide deepened, and that is the gap that we wanted to bridge through the Manipur Community Access Network through this initiative. our core motivation, uh, yeah, our core motivation was to rebuild connectivity, not just the internet connectivity, but the trust that we once shared between the communities through this technology. We wanted to prove that we wanted to prove that internet, when owned and managed by the community, can become a tool for peace building rather than division. Uh, and with the local volunteers, I think we are able to achieve this. Uh, if I say 100%, I might be wrong, but at least we give our best. 80-90% we are successful in the Manipur Access Network through this initiative. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, George. We heard you, but I think since I'm sitting close to you, I heard better all of us. Maybe quickly, he just lastly tried to say that there was a conflict, and still, I think since 2023, the conflict started in May, and until now, I think we all know how I know the situations are playing around. The president rule is still there in that particular state now, and then
Uh,
he's part of the Kuki-Zo community. So there's Mite, and the conflict happened between these two major communities. And for 3 years now, they are not being able to use the mainstream capital city, mainstream airport, mainstream capital area, mainstream city, nothing. They are going reverse way, back way through Mizoram. Mizoram is another province, and from that particular district to Mizoram is a 1 day, full day journey to go to the Mizoram capital. And nowadays they are using the airport of Mizoram province, not their own province, because that is how their life is. Even all transportation essential commodities are coming that way, and inflation is a big now is a big challenge for people, for them especially, because everything is coming the longest way, the most difficult way. So what he's finally trying to say to that the network they have tried to establish, or the service they have tried to connect the community locals is in terms of conflict, where I think this initiative that they have initiated is more about peace building. Conflict resolution is important because information is very critical, and that is how George and his student team, because he's part of a student association called Siam Singh Paul P. This is a Paite Students Welfare Association. Paite is a sub-tribe, Paite, is a sub-tribe of the larger Kuki Zo type communities. So he's a part of the student body, and the student body is trying to manage and run that network in that area. So thank you, George, for joining. If you stay back, then I can ask you one more question. I think if you stay back, then I will get back to you. Thank you. And this project they're running is from a Ethnic Foundation support, is an ISIF grantee under this project, on the community network in terms of a conflict, this initiative. Thank you, George. So now I think, Amir, that the question that comes to you is that when we see community, when we go and try to set up a community network, we don't have to violate any laws, the government laws, country laws, provisions, the guidelines of the Department of Telecom in India, for example, since you have implemented largely in India. So we don't have to violate, right? We don't have to violate. So my question to you is that for us is that since you have done so many network setup, so how readily, feasibly, comfortably we can go and set up such localized hyperlocal networks in those areas where there's a need without violating the legal structure, legal framework in India. So what is your experience and example, and what you want to say on this? Because we don't have to go against the laws and the provisions and things like that.
So before doing any setup, you just need to check what we are doing. We just checking that the devices which we are using, that is not regulating any law. Okay. Also the height, like somewhere we need towers to put our devices. So we need to check the height. If it's under the required, what I say. If it's under our requirement, then it's okay. If we need more height, they need to go for the SACFA clearance.
SACFA is a license clearance.
Yeah, license for the tower height. No? Also, you just what we are using two bands like 2.4 and 5.8 gigahertz, which is openly available for anyone. So there is no any compliance issue with that devices.
So if there are no compliance issues, so why not more and more organizations from the ground are coming forward to set up community network because they know they are not being able to connect to the networks properly. So why not? It's not coming very often.
See,
The demand is not coming from the ground.
actually, sir, right now, most of the part is connected. Geo is there, lots of places, so they don't need in every places. But somewhere we have demands, we are doing that. That's it.
Can I add something to what you said? So there's a difference between like a public network and a private network because like there are a lot of private networks like this ISPs that coming into picture. Not many. I mean, see when you set up a public network, also you are dependent on the ISPs again, like you have to buy certain things like, and in India still community networks are like not legal, like I mean there are no policies developed for it. So it's on some organization's interest, and like how do you set up the network like for the purpose of connecting meaningful connections, like where there is a need, and going ethically, going by law, like also like you're not, like when you talk about like internet, giving internet into the community through a public network, so how legally like you operate that, how legally you are not reselling anything, but you are giving something for the community so that like the ISPs also understands like the need of like the network in these unconnected areas, like so that's where like, and give, I mean setting up public networks is also not like an easy thing, like you need there are many challenges to it, and there are many technicalities to it also, like so that's one like not every organizations, or there's not a big movement here in India, like
Okay. So, thank you. Hina, again coming to you is the audiovisual network that you have. So, any example you want to share that it has been effective in terms of addressing particular issue on the ground? Any one example that you can share?
You want one example of an issue resolved?
Yeah, issue resolved.
Okay. I think recently I will take an example of there was one video that we created which connected around 25 villages. We made an issue video about that, and eventually the government intervened, and we took the video to the government, and around 1 lakh people were impacted by a road construction. So that kind of impact we do see with our videos. So we have around more than 20,000 videos on our YouTube channel itself, which are all community produced and first person narratives of the issues that people are facing in their daily lives, be it a public health issue or a hand pump issue or connectivity or discrimination, any kind of issue. And those issues, out of 4 videos, 1 video does have an impact. So it's like 25% rate of impact, which has impacted around 45 million people. So that kind of impact through videos is there, but we really like this. When I think of community network, for me the idea of community network is completely different from the way it is discussed right now, in terms of internet and intranet and the local bandwidth and how you connect it to the larger grid. But for us, the community network, it means more in terms of how people are connected to each other, how the local groups are forming their own governance units and their own leaderships, and how they are raising their issues to the local authorities. That is how we see as community networks, how it is evolving. Even though like we have seen that people had access to internet or intranet or local networks as well. The issues were not resolved because it is not really about the connectivity issue. It is mostly about the people are not feeling heard. Like that is the primary issue, that the right to be heard by a citizen is something that is not taken seriously. And until and unless we don't solve for that problem, even though if we are connected, it won't matter much. Like that's what our observation has been.
So it's like more about hearing the community, their voice through a network and collective force, and then taking it to the right sources and then getting it resolved, right? So that's it's about more of a governance also, improving governance services and things like local leadership and things like that. Thank you, Hina. So again. I think I can stop for a while. Any views from, because it's a monotony way of, I think, going round and round. Any perspective you want to share from anyone, any perspective you may have to share that we have been trying to discuss, community network, in terms of crisis, resilience, anything. I think, please think, so I think we'll again get back to you. So Shalini, this is one model that your hardcore community network that Hina said that hard model is understanding of community network is different, yours is different. So building community capacity is not easy. So what is your take on that? Because that is, I think, one biggest challenge when you go to the ground.
Yeah, it's very true. So when you talk about community networks, it's just not getting connections, getting connected. Getting connected is different in various angles. Like there should be an network sustainability, there should be an economical sustainability. It's very important that needs to happen within. Like otherwise, there is no meaning to your whole network. What are you solving by bringing this connection into the place? So in most of in our case, like wherever we have worked, we have tried to bring economic sustainability, for example, like where we work in the core, where we first started our community networks, like in Karnataka, we have set up a craft space, like for the women community to come become a financial independence, because the women are the people who always stay in the village. Men tends to go out, work and come back. But how do you maintain the network? Like how to sustain, I don't want to say maintain, but how to sustain the network? Who will own the network? You need to explain the purpose of the network, why it is so we started with this, bringing the craft space and making marketing, digital marketing, trying to tell them how to develop the products, how to sell, how to speak confidently, where you can code. I mean, there are a lot of things involved in it, but that now gave some confidence to the women in the community, okay, now I have this, now I have this network, what I can do with this, and slowly we are developing on uh, bringing literacy programs into them, like adult literacy program, radio as a communication mode, how do you talk to the people, how do you stay connected, there are different services, there are different ways, but we have chosen some models that worked very well for us, radio as a main source of communications, because it's the oral, it's only the audio that they understand, because they are low literates. So radio as a service, the craft space as one of the models. This is what we have done. In other parts of the India, also now when we have introduced internet in some part of the villages, what was important for them? They wanted to do an online jobs, because there are many women who cannot travel. Because of the crisis that's happened in, it's not safe, or they don't have much opportunity to go out. So a lot of women say can I apply, can I work from home? Can you give us connectivity? It's very important I can have like financial stability, like independent. So, and for many it's like work from home is an option. For many it's like education is a problem, is a thing like where they want to like a lot of college goers, students who wants to come back, stay in the village and study. Like, you know, when there are problems, there are no facilities, like there's a shutdown happens, or like some, if there is a connectivity also, if there is like some war is happening, can they come back to the village and have some connectivity where they can participate? So these are some of the things that building, like what is needed, why connectivity, making it meaningful, for more meaningful, like every time identify what is the need in that area, like why people, like news, I said like news, because they don't get newspapers, there are no cable connections, not much TVs in the community, like the Naga tribe that I was telling, like, so lot many wants to know like what's happening, they don't have proper internet, can I watch? In TV also, like only one or two channels you may get it, what you subscribe to. Like now, that's what happened. No? Earlier you used to get every channel, but like now, like what you pay, you get it. So you cannot afford for that also now. So internet can, for some people, it's a blessing also, like to stay connected, to know what is happening in the world, to know what is happening in your area.
So I think you say that need, objective, and meaningfulness. I think if this is clear to the community, then certainly the acceptance, ownership, and the capacities will come in place, right? I think that is very, very important as an approach. That is very important. So I think Amir, community network, going to the community, explaining the community, the terminologies, the items, the products, the processes, is very technical in terms. So how can we make it more simplified to the community? Because uska language hi alag hai. That language is very little technical. How do you simplify that communication to the people? Because then only people will understand that, yeah, isko aise lage, this is how to fix this is how to put, even in training also. I mean to say, how do we simplify this whole language of transferring knowledge or technology to the community? How do you simplify that? What are the challenges? Quickly.
uh, if we are using the language which they understand, or any animation or that sort of thing, then they can understand better. Okay, so right now we have a book of wireless network engineer module 1 and module 2. In that we created one animated slides, or we have soft copy also. So in that we are making this like networking things very simple. So if anyone who knows computer only, they can read and they can learn the basic of computer, then it's totally depend on the training, like how you are going to train them, how easily you are going to train, how soft language you are going to use. So it's depend on those things. So we trained lots of peoples, like we have a one program like barefoot wireless engineer, that those people who's not from the IT background, who don't know internet, who don't know computer, we trained them also. Also, we trained some females, WWE and WWE program. So it's about the language, like how soft you are going to be.
So the local language, local content, and local approach to training is very, very important in this whole approach to community network. That is what you are trying to say, right? Thank you so much. So we have time to play the video. How much time will it take? It's a video of what George Troy was trying to say. We did capture a video when he was in a very comfortable position to video that. So we have that video. But before that video, I have last question for Hina. Your model is very well heard, well known, and well accepted, well established. So if someone else in a remote organization community, in for example Manipur, wants to, are you working in Manipur? Okay. He wants to adopt this approach and model. So what could be that easy way to take this up there?
I'll give you my email ID. That is the easiest way. I'll give you my email ID and you can reach out and I'll connect you.
Okay, all right. So I got the answer. Thank you. So we'll play the video and then we'll close our discussion.
My name is George Thangwansa. So I'm working in the electric department of the state of Manipur state. The idea of setting up the community network came about when the ethnic violence erupted on the 3rd of May 2023. There is an internet blackout. To be precise, it's around 11 months exactly. And due to this internet shutdown, telecommunication also is being disrupted and families were cut off. The basic needs like the internet itself collapsed, and from that we realized that the digital exclusion, it amplifies the human suffering. That's when we conceptualize Manipur community access network, which will be maintained by the community itself, and it should be ethical. And the main challenges most of the students rely on, who rely solely on the internet for education, they can't continue their education. It also affects the small local entrepreneurs which were dependent on the digital platform. And one of the major challenges is misinformation, fear. There is distrust among the community. Some of the village chief, due to misinformation and lack of awareness, they don't allow the tower being built in their village. But eventually one village chief, he came back to us and told us that if there is no harm in putting the tower, we can set up, but with some conditions. The second thing is technicality. Technician is there, but shortage of the raw materials, because we couldn't procure it from Imphal. The nearest is Aizawl, but Aizawl also, it's a hilly area. It takes days, it takes weeks to procure the items, the technical items, the materials. And after the community access network was set up completely, some volunteers set up a study camp which can be accessed online. So through that, they are getting education only. We went to around 5 to 10 villages where we think that the setting up of the tower will be possible, so that it can give out the internet within a large radius. We make the campaign and the awareness, and most of the village chief and the villagers, they are happy and they have welcomed us. And one of the benefits of setting up this community access network is that students from different schools and colleges, they came to help, like in setting up of the tower. Like they came, they learned. And one of the advantages that after setting up of the Kent community access network in Lamka, the IDPs, internally displaced persons, like all their belongings, even their certificates and all documents, they can have their documents print online, they can download it from online, and it also helps the lives of many in restoring their normal lives. Another point I want to make is that those small entrepreneurs which solely depends on the digital platform, it really helps them because their product can be seen again digitally. The internet for backhaul, we partnered with local ISP providers like Gignet. They help us set up the network. Some are being funded by the project funders. They help in setting up the network, they help in maintaining, and they also help in sustaining the network, which needs to be continued. Introduction of this community network, it really helps, especially the tribals like ours. Through this, we can reach out to the world, we can learn, we can educate through the internet. So community access network should be set up everywhere.
So we have cut short 2 minutes. I think we will still, the video is being improvised and will be developed further. So with that, thank you for all of you for sharing your perspective, and I will give my email to you. Thank you, Shalini and Amir. Thank you all of you, and I think a lot to share, but of course we can keep continuing the discussion. Thank you for joining.